3 years ago, I quit my high-paying tech job at Facebook to pursue entrepreneurship in real estate. Do I regret it? Was it worth it? And would I recommend someone else to do the same thing? Well, watch this video to find out. So all across social media these days, I feel like influencers are telling people that they should quit their job right away to go and pursue their passion. Now, having experienced the other side of things for 3 years, I want to make this video today to give a more balanced picture of the pros and cons of entrepreneurship and whether or not that's something that you should be doing as well. What's up, y'all? If you're new here, my name is HelloEricYu, and I talk about things related to entrepreneurship, real estate, Airbnb, and just how to live a balanced life. So if you're interested in any of those topics, there's this cool red button down below that you can press, and that would mean a lot to me. All right, so let's get into it. I want to start off by talking about some of the not so great things about the entrepreneurial lifestyle, and the first one that I really struggled with was this. Figuring out what to do with your time and setting direction is very challenging. When you're working your corporate job, you typically have tasks or projects that you're assigned to, and you'll just tackle those things so you have a very set idea of what you need to be doing and what you need to be focusing on. Now, in the entrepreneurial world, all of a sudden, everything opens up. You can do anything. There's so many directions that you can pursue, right? So I had some initial success with Airbnb investing, but after I quit my job, I started asking myself, do I want to double down here? Do I want to explore another business? Do I want to get into fulfillment by Amazon? What is it that I want to focus my time on? And this can be pretty overwhelming, where all of a sudden you had very clear guidelines, very clear expectations. Now you need to create these new expectations for yourself on what you want to spend your time on. And all of a sudden you can fall into decision paralysis. So that's definitely something I struggled with at the beginning. And if you're someone thinking about quitting your job, I'd recommend thinking through this question. Are you the kind of person that really likes to have structure and guidelines and people telling you what to do? Or are you the kind of person that likes to be a creative problem solver and someone who likes to go and deal with the ambiguity? It took me quite some time, probably like 2 years or so, before I finally felt like I had a good idea of direction. So be wary of the fact that direction will be a challenge. So the second thing that I struggled with was learning how to set good boundaries. I think when I was working my corporate job, I would used to come in at work at 9 and then clock out around 5 or 6 every day. And then for the rest of the evening, really shut my brain down so I didn't have to think more about the work-related things. Now, when you're working an entrepreneurial lifestyle and you're building your own business, all of a sudden you can work 24/7. So there's that common saying that people have, which is you trade your 9 to 5 for a 24/7. And I very, very much relate to that. There were so many evenings where I'd be just thinking about, oh, I should focus on reaching out to someone right now. I'll go message or email someone, or I'll go and build out this process of mine that I want to do at like 9 or 10 p.m. at night. So all of a sudden I'm working all the time, and actually I'm working way more than I was working when I was at my 9 to 5. So anyway, when you work for yourself, it's easy to just keep on working and not set those good boundaries. But I learned it the hard way that it's very important to have downtime for yourself and make sure that you're not impacting the meaningful relationships in your life as well. And the third point that I wanted to talk about is the emotional roller coaster that is entrepreneurship. So previously working in a corporate job, you've got your bi-weekly payouts, you've got payments coming in, you can see your bank account going up, so there's a sense of stability that you get. Now, as an entrepreneur, you don't know when that next paycheck is going to come in, and it takes a while to build up that flywheel, that snowball, before you actually see recurring income coming in. So what that meant for me was there would be months at a time where I did not make a single dollar, and that was extremely stressful. There was a lot of those times where I'd be in those down low moments of entrepreneurship where I wonder, was this the right decision to make? Should I have just stayed at my cushy tech job? Did I make the biggest mistake of my life? All of these kinds of thoughts and emotions would pop up within me, and it was hard. I won't lie, it was very hard to manage those kinds of feelings, those kinds of moments where you're really in a low. What I learned over time is that you just have to weather the emotional roller coaster in the low moments, but also in the high moments as well, right? It's gonna be a part of the process. It is how things just go in the entrepreneurial world, and trying to resist that and trying to not feel stressed only makes things that much worse. So don't underestimate how much emotional turmoil you might go through if you decide to quit your job and become an entrepreneur. Okay, so having talked about some of the things that I think aren't as positive, I also want to talk about some of the things that I love about being an entrepreneur, starting with autonomy and just being able to set my own schedule. I think it's very, very empowering just being able to choose what I work on, choose who I talk to, and choose what times I work. In addition, I've been able to take a number of vacations this year and just put things on pause when I've needed to. versus when I was working at my corporate job, if I needed to take a month off, that's really hard to do, right? Typically you get 15 days, maybe 21 days of vacation in a year. This year I was able to take off a lot of time to focus on some of the more important things in my life, and that is something that I'm very grateful for. So having that flexibility in my schedule and being able to set what I want to focus on when I want to focus on it, that has just been a massive game changer for me. The second thing that I really enjoy is that the earnings potential that you have here is basically unlimited and uncapped. So versus when I was working and I had a salary, the thing is I would eventually get capped at a maximum earnings amount. No matter how high I went up, maybe, the earnings potential I could eventually hit would be around like $1 million, $1.5 million or so as an employee. Now, as a business owner, there is so much that you can grow, and there's so many opportunities out there that essentially, if you find the right formula, you find the right strategy, you find the right game to play, you can make basically infinite amounts of money. So I like the idea that the amount of time I put into building this business is directly translated into the amount of earnings that I can have as well. Versus the extra time that I put into working a corporate job, yes, sure, I'm gonna get promotions, I'm gonna get raises, I'm gonna make more money there as well. But at some point that growth curve slows down versus in entrepreneurship, you can see with people like Alex Hormozy, you can see with people like Elon Musk, you've got this like massively parabolic curve on what your earnings potential looks like. And that's something that excites me a lot as well. And then the last thing is a counter to one of the down points I talked about earlier, which is the highs are extremely high, and those moments when you succeed and figure something out are incredibly fulfilling. So I mentioned earlier that you need to learn how to weather the storm, both for the negative emotions and positive emotions. But when you finally figure something out, when you finally get that taste of success and see that the efforts that you put into what you're working on, after you've put in 6 months, 10 months, 12 months of hard work to try and succeed on something, and you finally get that outcome that you want, it is an unmatched feeling. So that's one of the things where the highs are so much higher than any high I can remember when I was working my corporate job. So achieving milestones like my first successful Airbnb property, first real estate sales client, coaching client, or my first new build construction, those were extremely high and fulfilling moments, and I would not trade them for anything else. All right, so big question at the end of the day, do I regret quitting my corporate 9-to-5 for entrepreneurship? Absolutely not. I think this has been an extremely fulfilling journey, but there have been a lot of trade-offs along the way, and it's not just purely positive. Anyone that tries to tell you that it's purely positive is very much trying to sell you on this grass is greener mentality, but there are a lot of things you should consider if you want to quit your 9-to-5. If you're the kind of person that likes to have structure, that likes to have community and people that you see all the time, and just that stability, then maybe staying in your job makes more sense for you. But if you're like me and you like to go out there, set your own schedule, have the flexibility, grow and build your own thing, then entrepreneurship is probably for you. So I do not regret it at all. I would 100% make the same decision over and over again, and I'm so thankful that I am now on this entrepreneurial path. Thanks for watching. If you found this video helpful, give it a thumbs up, drop a comment, and give a subscribe. I'd love to know what else you guys want to hear about, and I am excited to make more content here as well.